Hello, and welcome to Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom, the podcast where two friends,
Heather.
and Rachel, get together and talk about life, learning, and a variety of practices for health, wellness, and overall self care. Together, we'll give you our best tips, tricks, life hacks, and an abundance of unsolicited advice on a number of topics. So, today's topic is actually how to stay more fit without a regular exercise program. I know a lot of you are very excited about this because not so many of us love to work out. And we want to stay fit and healthy and active, right?
Right.
Okay. So if you are interested in what we're talking about, please tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to hear from us. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that we're talking about and maybe add to the conversation. We really would like to hear from you. So let us know what you like about what we're doing, any topics that you would love for us to cover, or anything that we've talked about already that you'd like us to get more specific on. Please drop it in the comments for us. We really would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would.
So now, I know you know that both Heather and I do work out or exercise regularly in different ways. And I definitely think that having an exercise program or routine is definitely helpful and beneficial. But I do understand how it's really difficult to fit into your everyday and why some people kind of like to avoid exercising. And that's actually a huge part of why I started 5 Minutes for Me. And hopefully, very, very soon, you'll be seeing a lot more on my website. So if you are interested in really simple exercises, head on over to 5 Minutes for Me and check out some of my simple exercise plans and routines. But for those of you who want to just start getting fit in your overall everyday, I've got a few ways for you to do that.
Before we get started, I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
On all your hard work and getting things going. Rachel has been sitting on a plethora of knowledge for such a long time. And since we've started our podcast, her and I have been working back and forth, and she has propelled into absolutely doing amazing things. And soon it will be shared to all of you. And so I am so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm super excited. I've been kind of stuck in a holding pattern for a little while. So I do have a website that is up. It literally went up this morning. It needs a little bit of work yet, but there's a few blogs up there. I think there's 3 blogs on sleep. So we had talked about that. So if you want to check that out, I do have a good amount of videos with some simple exercises on my YouTube channel, which is also just number 5 minutes, number 4, me, on YouTube. So head over and check that out. And again, I'd love to know what you think of it, what you'd like to see. I'm really open to those suggestions, and I'll keep you updated on here as well as where we're going with that. So
super proud of you.
Yeah. All right. So let's get started with some of the ways that you can add some simple fitness into your everyday life. So I'm going to get started. Let's get started in the morning with your morning routine. I know with me, and I don't even have this on here, but I'm going to do it quick. Sometimes I will do a few stretches right from bed. Before I even get out of bed, I'll roll over. I'll just lay flat on my back for a few minutes, thinking I'll pull my knees into my chest.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll even do an overhead stretch. Even I'll do child pose from bed, and even cat-cow before my feet even go over to the edge of the bed.
So I do the same thing. I stretch before I get out of bed. So there's a couple of great reasons why stretching in bed is so beneficial. right? A lot of people are like, oh, I got to be up and ready and
No.
moving and everything like that. So when you do things like bringing your knees into your chest and squeezing and compressing the lower belly, you're actually massaging organs. You're
Mm-hmm.
actually getting juices going in the body before you put your feet on the floor. And so when you move the hips and everything, you've been stagnant for anywhere from 6 to however long you've been sleeping, right?
Yeah.
And so you've been super stagnant, and it really gets juices flowing. It gets
Absolutely.
the fascia kind of moistened and the joints and
Yeah.
things like that. So, yes, stretching before you get out of bed is a beautiful, beautiful practice.
So yeah, it's something I like to do like pretty much every morning. And it's funny because, it's a little hard because Chris always sleeps in later than I do. So I'm like very mindful that there's someone next to me in bed. But sometimes like
Mm-hmm.
it feels so much better to do that movement before I even get up,
Yep.
and it's super helpful. It really gets your body ready to move through the
Yep.
day. So then the next thing I have is like during your morning routine and um, standing intervals during morning tasks. Now, it's funny because when I was doing research, right, and things come up, so it's like, well, brushing your teeth or like doing your morning routine. I'm like, I don't know many people who sit down to brush their teeth unless they have to.
Right.
I'm going to assume like most guys, I don't think sit down during their morning routines.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I have like a wide knowledge of this, but everyone's house that I've been to, like if anything, there's like maybe like the women have like a vanity with a chair and all their makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, I'm going to assume guys are standing up for most of the bathroom stuff. But so if you're going to get up and read emails though, or check like any online articles, that kind of stuff, like any morning reading
Mm-hmm.
for the guys that are listening, that might be a great way to do it. So I don't know what happens if I take this camera off and show you what I have. It might not work because then my other camera's going to pick up. But I
Mm-hmm.
have like a little, like it's like a tray, an elevating tray table
Right.
that sits on top of my desk, so it lifts up, so I can lift it up even higher into standing, and you can put it right on your desk. You can put it on your kitchen table, wherever
Right.
you might want to do it, and elevate so that you can stand to do all of those things. And there's
And
a
and
go
I
ahead.
have the same thing. I actually have a computer or a table that, like, you press the button and it lifts. You press the button, it goes down. I put my
Mm-hmm.
treadmill under it, and edit our video.
So yeah, that's a great way to like get a little bit of extra like standing into your day. And then
Yes.
I actually wanted to, I mean, I have a bunch more things, but like literally simply standing is a really great place to start with just increasing your overall fitness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your muscles are going to work a little harder. You're going to burn a few more calories, but it's going to like help your heart to work a little bit better, to get your organs working a little bit better because you're standing, you're moving around, you're increasing circulation, and everything is working just a little bit harder. So it actually does a lot to benefit your body overall.
Mm-hmm.
You can reduce lower back pain because you're not sitting so much.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us don't sit with great sitting posture. It's not the most comfortable, so we tend to like fall onto the back of our chair and then slouch over, which then compresses all those organs we were talking about stretching
Right.
earlier in the morning. um, but it can really, just adding 2 hours of standing
Mm-hmm.
into your day can help reduce health risks like diabetes and heart issues, and increase your energy levels
Right.
and reduce pain levels. And it will also can reduce inflammation and swelling. I know I get very passionate about this stuff. Um, and it really means a lot because it's a simple thing, like finding time to stand throughout your day
Yeah.
can make you feel better, give you more energy,
Mm-hmm.
and improve your overall health. And that's it. Like standing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's that simple. Should you go a little bit farther after a while? Yes. But if you're looking for a place to start,
Yeah.
start by standing up more.
Right. The other thing too, you talked about lower back, yeah, hip issues.
Mm-hmm.
too. When you're standing, you're not compressing the hip. And a lot of people when they sit a lot, they compress the hips. So the hips get tight
Absolutely.
and everything like that. So to be able to get the hips opened and things like that. The sitting piece for opening hips is just taking your foot up over your other knee.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are sitting and your hips are tight before you stand, you can stretch your hip flexors just by taking one foot over a knee and then taking the other foot
You
over
can,
the other
yeah.
knee, opening up those hips, and then do your standing, and then you're just kind of limbering up to do whatever you're doing.
Yeah, honestly, I could do a whole other episode of what kind of exercises you could do to like go from sitting to standing, and that will be like I am designing an entire course just based around that kind of stuff. So even like from there, like simple, just like pelvic tilts from if you're rocked back and you're hinged at the hip and you're kind of flexed forward, just by pushing your hips forward and coming up to a neutral position will actually start to open those hips up. It's not going to open them all the way, and you can rock back and forth or even circle, and then do your standing. And again, I could talk about this all day, so I'm going to go on to the next thing because I know my tangents. So,
good information.
Yeah, I just so much information. Okay. So now the next thing I have is, so if you're using, this one came up and I found it kind of funny. It says use public transportation. Um, and it says to get off like a stop early and do an extra walk. For most people I know that use public transportation, that in itself will give you a little bit of extra time to add in more steps because you're going to have to do some extra walking to get there. And a lot of times that's going to add so much time onto your day. Right. Listen, if it's great and it's convenient and it's the summertime and you can go get off a stop ahead and do that extra walk to get those steps in, great. But I know for where I live, stops are a little closer. For other people, like some stops are so far apart that might be a little bit much.
Or you could live where I live, where we have no public transportation.
Well, yeah, that's rough. So I mean, like public transportation around here is pretty good. Like, and where I work, stops are close enough together to do that. But right by my house, you couldn't walk from one bus stop to the next. And again, like this came up in my research. So honestly, yes, if you're someone who takes public transportation, you're probably going to get in a few extra steps each day, regardless. So it's just an option. I would figure I would throw it out there. Going for walks every day on your lunch hour or during break times. So depending on what your day is like, so many people work from home now. Some people have flex time. So I actually suggest if you have enough time during your lunch or if you have breaks during your day and the weather is accommodating, go for a walk for part of your lunch. If you have a lunch hour, take some time, have something to eat, go for a walk. It'll help you digest. It'll help clear your head and just kind of process everything that's happened through the first part of the day. It'll get your blood circulating. It'll make you feel a little bit more awake and ready to get back to work. So going for a walk during your lunchtime is a great way to do that. If you have a treadmill at home, you're doing your editing. Anyone who has that, hop on the treadmill for a little bit. It's a great way to do that. If you can get outside, I definitely always am for getting outside and going for that walk. The fresh air and nature and all that is always beneficial. It's always great for your health.
And I know some people don't have the time during lunch to work out or walk, but even stepping away from your desk or stepping out of your work environment, whether you like people that work in warehouses and things like that, just stepping outside and standing outside and breathing and clearing your head and everything, it's not necessarily a workout, but it really helps the mind and it really helps the mental state for what what you're doing.
Move your body. Um, I'll even like if you can stop, take breaks from work, just again, stand up, even if it's only for a few minutes at a time. Do a few simple stretches right from your desk. Just like literally bringing your arms up over your head, opening up your body again, like getting those,
Mm-hmm.
like taking the compression off of all of your internal organs and just taking a few deep breaths in can be super helpful. And it's just like these little times throughout the day that allow you to stand up, take a break from what you're doing, and move your body.
The other
Um,
thing too, all the things that we're talking about is thinking outside the box,
yeah.
right? Honestly, like think outside the box on how you can incorporate more movement.
Yeah, and it's just like it's simple little things like finding these little ways to get your steps in. I know a lot of people will use like a step counter throughout the day. I'll put my phone in either my back pocket or if I have like I wear scrubs to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I have ones that have like a cargo pocket on the leg and it'll track my steps much better.
Mm-hmm.
That way I know people who get Fitbits
Yeah.
that will fit on their ankle
Oh, nice.
because you're not always doing the arm swing when you're walking throughout your day. A lot of times we're carrying stuff with us.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have your Fitbit and it's on your ankle,
Nice.
you're going to pick up, and that will probably pick up the most steps. Because like my phone, if I don't have it with me first thing in the morning or in my pocket, like if
Right.
I'm in my pajamas or whatever, I'm probably taking at easy at least 1,000 steps a day that are not getting
Yeah.
calculated.
Right.
Um, because once I don't have my work clothes on, like I don't keep my phone
Mm-hmm.
next to my leg. So using technology like that just to keep up with it, and then it's kind of fun because then you find that you're checking that and you want to kind of up your score,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's kind of like this little bit of incentive, and with doing that, you can also like have I've seen people do like step count competitions with their friends,
Yeah.
and they'll like take like over a so many week period, like who's taken the most steps and they'll like have a little prize or that they'll go out to lunch and that person gets lunch free or
Yeah.
like little incentives like that. I know some companies will even do walking meetings instead of sitting down at a desk or like a computer's.
Yep.
Go outside and do your meetings like on a walk, because a lot of times it's not only is it great for your body but it's really inspirational. A lot of people get better ideas
Mm-hmm.
when they're out taking a walk. So together, like you're talking about kitchen yoga.
Yes.
So
I am a kitchen yoga person. Fast
what
yoga.
when you're in your kitchen, there's a lot of great things you can do, and I know it's easy to go right for the easiest thing, but spend a little extra time on your feet, like while you're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Prepare a meal that maybe takes a little bit longer every once in a while. Spend more time on your feet. Wash all your dishes and stand there at the sink while you're waiting for things to be done instead of sitting back down. Like that's the time to do your kitchen yoga. You got the stuff in the oven
Mm-hmm.
and you maybe need to go do something else. Stand up, clean your counters. Like take that time to like then maybe put away a few extra things. So then you're reaching and you're bending and you're doing this and that. Just these little things that we have cut down to save time
Right.
in our lives, I find myself trying to put back in because I'm moving more and I'm
Yes.
getting more out of it. So like instead of having more time to sit down and get work done, I'm finding more and more reasons to move away from work and to take those breaks and to go
Yeah.
back to actually the harder way of doing things, like preparing preparing a full meal
Mm-hmm.
instead of buying pre-prepared.
Right.
And listen, I understand, like, my kids are older now. When my kids were smaller, yes, I found those corners to cut. But as I have more and more time for myself and I'm looking for ways to stay more active, I'd much rather go to the grocery store
Mm-hmm.
and walk the entire store, go up and down and in and out of the aisles. Spend more time doing that because then now you're taking more time to look at the food that you're purchasing, thinking about the meals that you're preparing. I feel like when I do that, I'm definitely getting more of the groceries I want to get as opposed to like putting in a prepaid order and going to like pick it up or having it delivered, because then you're kind of at the mercy of like what they have
Right.
um, at that time. Whereas if you go in, number one, you're getting a little more activity in, you're getting out, you're doing something throughout your day, and you've got the pick of like the quality of food
Right.
that you want to get. So like
Somebody else isn't picking them for you.
absolutely. And I feel like that's like there's all these little things that people used to do during their day to be more physically active that we've cut out for productivity,
Mm-hmm.
at our jobs, or we're driving our kids someplace so they can go be active,
Right.
and we're driving.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. So one of the things I used to do was when I had to take my kids to activities, especially if it was nicer out, I would go, because a lot of things in a lot of areas are in like industrial complexes,
Mm-hmm.
and I would go for a walk a lot of times. Like I would take my time then. Like my kids are going to be here for X amount of time, and I've definitely seen groups of people doing that. Like they drop their kids off, they don't want to go far
Mm-hmm.
because they're going to have to pick them up in like a half hour to an
Right.
hour, and they go for a walk around the area, just to then they've got their fitness time.
Mm-hmm. So I do that when I take, as you know, my kids are older. I have the grandbabies, and I take care of my mom. My mom lives with us. So when I take my mom to her appointments, I make sure that she gets into where she's going. The doctor calls her or whatever, and then I walk. You know, and sometimes I just walk around the building.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just literally kind of like walk the halls or things like that. And so, yeah, I think just thinking outside the box and trying to figure out, hey, is this a moment where I can add more movement?
Yeah, and you don't have to do it all at once. So I'm gonna have to culminate all of this and stick it in the show notes, and then I'm definitely going to. I will adapt this farther, and you'll see some of it on here and some of it on 5 minutes for me. But integrate some of this stuff slowly. Maybe start with standing a little bit more often. If you can get a standing desk and implement that, great. If not, maybe just make some time throughout your day to stop like at a certain point when you're doing your work and stand up for 5 minutes or so.
Right. Yeah.
And that's it. And then aim to set a goal to work up to however many hours you want to additionally stand throughout your day. Take a look and see, like, can you incorporate this, a walk into your lunchtime, or maybe it's just a matter of like getting up, walking over to meet a coworker, and maybe walking to go get your lunch if there's a place that's easily accessible to you to do that.
Right.
Not always, it's not always available, that's fine, but maybe like where you go, like even if you head over into a strip mall or whatever, maybe just walk around the parking lot into your car, which also brings me to something I forgot to bring up, is just park a little bit farther away whenever you're driving, like to go to the mall, to go to your office, to go to if you're driving to the train or the bus, park a little further away so that you're taking more steps to get to your destination, and you can add in like quite a few steps that day. Now again, depending on the weather, depending on how you're feeling that day, just adjust where you're putting your car, and maybe take a few extra steps that way just by parking a little bit farther. Feel like that's a really great, that's
Yes.
one of the easiest ways to just get a few extra steps in.
Yes.
And it's a good place to, like, I feel like that's a good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just like, okay, this is, how far I can comfortably go there. And then after a while, maybe start, putting that car farther and farther back to work your way up.
I think the thing too is when you add things subtly,
Mm-hmm.
it makes changes that you're just like, oh, I, now I can walk further or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And these subtle changes do affect your life. I know that for me, and I can only speak for me. I do yoga. Yoga is my thing. That's what I do. I need more cardio in my life. I need more cardio. I need to do more walking. Even though right now I have incorporated it in a lot of my life right now, but I wasn't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
My life was so hectic and I had no time and everything like that, which is the reason why I chose to retire. But the reality is, I now am getting to that point. And so I notice the little bit that I'm implementing because I
Mm-hmm.
am putting it in baby steps. Like I am walking now when I edit. And so that is a baby step for me because I'm not walking, you know, a ton of miles or,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably not even taking my 10,000 steps a day, but I am taking 6,000 steps a day.
Right. And you have to, and
Sometimes,
that's, I think that's right. What people need to realize is you have to start somewhere.
yeah,
So if you don't think you can maintain those 10,000 steps, that's fine. I don't always get in a full 10,000 steps in a day. Now, I'm not crazy about recording my steps either. Like I like
hmm
to get close to that. I don't record any of my steps for until really I get to work. Like that's
right,
when I put my phone in my pocket and I have it there all day. So any steps that I put in before I get to work or once I get home
right,
aren't factored in. But you have to start somewhere. So if
right,
you're taking two more steps than you did yesterday, that's progress.
right,
And find a way to look at that. And if recording your activity isn't great that way, like, find a way to like maybe, put a Fitbit on your wrist, put a Fitbit on your ankle, find a way to like get those steps to calculate and to add that stuff in. But
and
start.
gauge how you're feeling,
Yeah,
right? Because
absolutely.
it changes the way you feel. The more activity that you can do, not have to do,
Right.
but can do effortlessly, like even bending down and picking stuff up, or, doing a low squat while you pick something up, or something like you might not be able to start there. You might have to, get there. But the reality is you, you will get there. And
Absolutely.
you're not going to get there the way I get there. You're not going to get there the way Rachel gets there. You're going to get there the way you get there.
But I feel like people don't think about themselves and feeling good as a
Right.
part of fitness. And this is really, I probably should have said this in the beginning too. You should feel good about your fitness,
Yeah.
about feeling active, about doing something for yourself, because it does actually makes your body feel good and it really can boost your mood. So you don't have to work out like, you know, and lift heavy weights or be some like, fitness influencer or model or like, guru and look the part. Your fitness is for you. You want to be healthy, you want to feel good, and you want to prolong your life, right? I'm assuming, right? You want to avoid heart disease, diabetes, like any of those like relative, risk factors. You want to
hmm
reduce them. And a lot of people, I think, are very deterred from exercise because they feel like they can't do it.
Yeah.
Like it's not something that they can do. They are not physically able to do a beginner level workout, which
Yeah.
is, not, it's like I try to go for like routine or, exercise program. And that's the thing. Like you need to find programs and routines that work for you. And you need to start at, if it has to start at the absolute lowest level, just
hmm
by standing a little bit more each day,
Right.
then do that. Set really small short term goals for yourself. Like, okay, I'm going to stand 5 minutes today. And then maybe tomorrow you're like, you stand for that 5 minutes again. And then you look for a place to stand for another 5 minutes. Even if it's just during a break at work, like
Yeah.
stand up,
And
take a few extra steps.
celebrate those wins because they are wins.
Absolutely.
I can tell you, like, I'm now working with a fitness coach,
Mm-hmm.
and she is working with me because I have a lot of mental stuff that I have to overcome with working out because I blew out my knee and I have the arthritis and blah, 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 blah. And so she's working with me on this mental overcoming this mental thing, even though I do yoga and I'm
Right.
super flexy, and I'm strong to, be able to lift my own body weight and things like that. But the reality is we all have that thing that that stops us from doing the other thing,
Right.
right? And know that you have to you have to gauge yourself and celebrate what you're doing when you're doing it.
Absolutely. So I mean, I've had my own issues with exercise. It's funny, as as I've been a trainer for over
Mm-hmm.
20 years now.
Yeah.
And in dealing with chronic pain and often fatigue and other symptoms, my levels of fitness will go up and down. Like what I am able to do can vary like widely for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I started finding ways to do the simplest exercises that I could, that I knew I could do comfortably.
Right.
And I often just go for the simplest thing I can do that makes me feel good.
Right.
And I mean, I exercise. And again, I'm not even going to say work. I exercise generally 5 days a week, as long as I'm feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
And I avoid heavy workouts. Sometimes I don't use any weight at all. Sometimes I will use my body weight. Most days I will get on. I started doing this. I get on the treadmill and I actually worked my way up slowly to walking backwards. So
Oh,
I walk backwards for like 15 minutes each day at a very slow pace. Um, because what it does is it actually engages a lot of muscles that we don't use throughout the
mhm,
day. And it helps improve things like balance and coordination.
mhm,
Um, and it's very light. It's easy. I started with just a few minutes because it was difficult for me to do at first. Like I would get, especially on the treadmill, like doing it in the yard when you know where you are, that's fine. I'd get in
mhm,
so many steps. But I was reading more and more about the benefits, and it said 15 minutes a day. So it took me months to get up to
mhm.
15 minutes a day
Yeah.
without, because I would feel a little dizzy, or I would feel unstable. My balance maybe wasn't so great.
Mhm.
And I took my time and I worked myself up to that. And I've been doing that regularly, like 5 times a week. Um, and I've definitely seen some changes in my balance, in my coordination, actually in the muscles in the back of my body by just doing that little bit of light exercise. And I'm up to like 1.3 to 1.5 miles. I
That's
started at
awesome.
I started at like zero point 0.5, so I'm doing a very slow pace
Yeah.
walk, but it's actually having a great impact on my fitness, on my posture, on my
Right.
balance, and on all of my muscles. And it's just like this, I put my headphones in, I listen to an audiobook, or
Hmm.
like a walking, a lot of those times I'll put a walking meditation on. Um, and it's been huge in how I feel each day. And
That's awesome.
it's minimal, but it works.
Yeah. Yeah. It they, it's the small things, then they become the big things. It's the kid that picked up the calf every day. Do you know that story?
And
No.
I don't know what I do.
Uh, a person said to a child, and I'm just paraphrasing, a person
Mhm.
said to a child on a farm, you'll be able to do this if you can carry this cow, you know. And
Okay.
so he started off with carrying a calf. Then as he grew, the calf grew. And eventually he was able to carry a cow,
Wow,
right?
that's, yeah.
And
Okay.
so it's just, those little things. You start off little and then you look back and you're like, wow, I've come all this way, um, and celebrating it.
Yeah, no, and that's the big thing, to celebrate each day. There's many ways that I do want to put it out there. Like, I don't know about other phones, but I know like the health app
Mm-hmm.
on your iPhone comes with has a variety of things that you can use. So it will count your steps for you. Um, you can set it for like sleep goals.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a setting, I have to find it again. There's even a setting on your iPhone that like has like a white noise, like for
Oh,
sleep.
hmm.
So yeah, and there's a bunch of different things that you can track,
Yeah.
that just come with your phone. So you're not even paying extra for it. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been using the step counter just in health on my
Nice.
phone. Like I didn't pay for anything extra. I didn't have to go searching for a free app.
Right.
or anything like that. So if you haven't gotten in there before and checked that out, just go in onto the health app on your phone and see what it has to offer for you. You might actually find, some little things that'll help you out to get through your day. So I don't know if you have anything else you wanted to put in there. I could probably
Nope.
talk about this for a ridiculous amount of time that no one else would be interested in. So,
And if you want us to go into something else, we can work on another episode. So
no,
just let us know.
absolutely. So, please, like, leave a comment if you liked what you heard here today and you have any specific questions. Feel free to drop it in the comments. We'd really love to hear from you. If I don't know the direct answer, I'll look it up for you. I'll see what I can find. But please, just let us know what you're thinking.
And
Um,
please go visit 5 minutes for me because Rachel does have some really amazing things that, you know, um, it she has these amazing workout things that you can incorporate in your day, and they're short. They're like,
yeah.
if you just go in there, it really will benefit.
So if you follow me on Instagram or on TikTok, I have a cute couple little uh, blurbs and quicker exercises that you can follow along with or do on your own. If you go to my YouTube channel, I have full length exercises and little mini workouts that you can do and incorporate throughout your day just to, it's all cumulative. So just give it a try. Let me know what you think. Thank you, Heather, for promoting that.
Yes, you're
I really
amazing.
appreciate it. I'm super excited. So
All
yeah,
right.
thank you. All right.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.